Hi, and welcome to the Times of Israel's Daily Briefing. It's Jessica Steinberg. I'm your host today. And today is yet another holiday, Jewish holiday in the season. And we're bringing you a different kind of daily briefing. Today, I'm going to speak to documentary filmmaker Yonatan Nir of DocuNation. And Yonatan's DocuNation, which he's going to tell us all about, is essentially offering the next series for the Times of Israel community. The format, just so you know, is the same as in the past, with a film available to stream around once a week, and then a Q&A, question and answer Zoom with the filmmaker, Yonatan. And this is for Times of Israel community only. Now let me tell you a little bit about Yonatan. This is not our first interview together, but it's been a number of years. He is the award-winning documentary filmmaker behind My Hero Brother, Dolphin Boy, Picture of His Life. But in the last, really more than a few years, he and Almog Gurevich, a documentary producer, put together their film company in a sense, but not exactly. Yonatan will explain it. It's called DocuNation. And it was born in March 2020 when the world really shut down and everyone needed to connect a little bit more. We all learned about Zoom, of course. But DocuNation, as Yonatan will tell us, was really pushed by both his need for connection, everyone else's need for connection. But what's very interesting about it is that it was created, in a sense, as many of his films were, by significant moments in life. So first, I want to turn to Yonatan and say hi. Hi, Yonatan.
Hello, Jessica. Nice to see you again, to meet you again.
Nice to see you and meet you again. Yonatan right now is in Arad in the south, and I'm in Jerusalem. And Yonatan, first of all, I want to welcome you back to the Times of Israel community and world. We're happy to have you back with us.
I'm happy to be here. Always to be together with the Times of Israel.
We appreciate it. So I guess let's first start with DocuNation, right? You know, on one hand, it seems obvious what it is. And then the more I think about it, I say, no, I actually need you to describe it and tell us maybe what it is right now. It might have started out as one thing, and it might be something else right now as we reach 2 years since October 7th, which I know has played a role in it.
Yeah, it's been 5.5 years since we started DocuNation, and you're correct. We've been through so many turmoils: the war, October 7th, COVID. And it just grew and grew in the past 5.5 years. We started it, me and my partner Almog Gurevich, on the first week of COVID in Israel. It's March 2020, and in one day, all my screenings in schools, in different organizations, high-tech companies, wherever I go and screen my films and speak about them and discuss about them with the audience, everything was shut down. And in one day, I had like 60 cancellations or something like that. Because I'm a filmmaker, but I also make films.
You show your films. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also like to, go around the country, sometimes in other countries as well, and screen it, especially for kids and for educational purposes. And suddenly one day, 60 screenings were just canceled. And I didn't know what to do. And I thought to myself, well, I just want to continue to be in touch with the audience. So together with my partner, Almog Gurevich, we heard that there is this new software, Zoom, something that is called Zoom. We didn't know it back then. And we thought to ourselves, well, we can screen, my films, My Hero Brother, Picture of His Life, Dolphin Boy, The Essential Link, The Story of Wolf in Israel, and more, and just screen them online and then speak with the audience. And we decided to make one open screening for everybody online. And suddenly we had like 600 or 700 people that were signed up for the screening.
Amazing.
It was all open for the public. We didn't ask for money, but actually the audience were contacting. People were contacting us through the chat and say, "Well, can we donate you some money so you can continue with it because we really like it?" And we say, well, why not? Let's try to create a platform that allow people to watch films and then to have a discussion with a creator. In the first year it was only my films, but after a year we thought to ourselves we can do it with other filmmakers as well. So we created a pretty simple platform. We call it DocuNation, DocuNation.org or YonatanNir.com, which is the Hebrew version of it. And for the first 1 year, it was only my films, but then we started to host other filmmakers. And we also choose the films not only according to their cinematic value or cinematic quality, but also according to their value for our lives. What are they giving us in our lives? For example, we'll never take or host a film that is called into the mind of a murderer. This is not what we try to do here. We don't trying to put more emphasis on the negative aspects of humanity. There's enough of it on the news.
Tell me how it's changed since I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but tell me how it's changed in the last 2 years. I assume you've kept on doing it and for different reasons. Maybe you want to talk about that first, but right, what does it look like in the last 2 years?
Well, it's been a turmoil and then a crisis in Israel for the past 5 years. It's always, we're going from a crisis to a crisis, and sometimes we thought about let's finish with it. It's not a good day to screen a film. People died today, big war, hostages still there, and we thought to ourselves maybe we should cancel it. We should not do it anymore, but actually the audience asked us to continue. The audience said, it's something that we're waiting for every week to just reconnect with some other kind of storytelling, not only negative stories about what is happening on the news, but let's take a documentary about, the real life, about the simple life in Israel, about people who are having, crisis, personal crisis, and get out of it. Inspiring documentaries. We're looking for inspiration. We're looking for hope. We're looking for compassion. We're looking for humanity. We're looking for positive aspects in humanity to put our cameras on it and then to interview the people who created these kind of films and speak with them about that. And in the past 5.5 years in Israel, we hosted almost 200 filmmakers with over 200 films. All the documentary filmmakers almost came to DocuNation. The whole concept is based on Dana. Dana is a word in Sanskrit meaning giving from the generosity of the heart. Or in Hebrew, you can say chesed emet. We're not selling anything. We give a service to people because we know they need it. And we need it too, actually, because it's kind of lifting us up from being depressed and down throughout this very, very, very terrible period, and we're trying to have this, ray of light once a week. We meet together. It became a really big community of tens of dozens of thousands of tens of thousands of people.
You're saying on the from your Israeli site, from the Israeli screenings.
Exactly, and that was only in Hebrew.
Right,
And then
right.
we were approached by the Times of Israel, which we really liked, and they said, "Hey, why won't we do something together in English?" And we did already 2 seasons with you, with great success, and now with starting a
Season
third
3.
season. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the kinds of films we're going to be seeing. Are they the films that you've been showing your Israeli audiences? Are they a little different because of subtitles? Is it the same kind of content, uplifting? The kind of film that you can see even when the news, as you so, correctly point out, is so complicated and difficult?
So first of all, we call it DocuNation. It's a name that was not given by us, but was given by a German producer who
Mm,
told me once, you should be called not only Startup Nation but also DocuNation
document.
because
It's true. Yeah.
you have so many great, crazy story in your country. And every season we try to create the best documentary films. All of them are with subtitles to English or with some English in the film, but every English speaker can understand it. And then also the conversation is in English, and we choose films that that are inspiring, that will lift you up, that will give you another perspective on Israel, that will maybe also make us feel part of something. Israel is in a difficult situation here and also in the diaspora. And we're trying to kind of bring people together around humane stories that come from this beautiful country to remind us all how great this country is, and that there are great people that live here with great stories, inspiring stories. And every season we create different films, but they're all with the same idea: Israeli resilience, Israeli inspiration, Israeli um, uh, positive stories, that will
Yeah,
lift us
sure.
up a little bit in this difficult time.
So are the films from the last 10 years? Are some of them from the last couple of years? I'm just curious about that aspect of it because of course films still keep on being made, and as you and I both know, a lot of the documentaries being made in the last couple of years very much deal with the fallout of October 7th and the people and the families. So I'm wondering about that part of it. Like, how recent what's the timeline of the films that you'll be showing and that you do show on a regular basis?
Well, we have shown films from the 90s, from the first decade of the 21st century. We Great documentary is timeless. It doesn't have a time limit. We're not dealing specifically with the events of October 7th. We did screen some films from that with this we with this theme, or this um mentioning the October 7th, or stories that started on October 7th. But this is not the majority. The majority of the films are just great documentaries about the people of Israel, about the Israeli culture, about Israeli creation.
Give us an example, Yonatan. I'd love to hear an example of a film that really struck your audience in a way that you maybe didn't expect. That if you could just give a little example.
On the first season, we screened Life in Steels, which is a great documentary from 2012 by my friend Tamar Tal Anati. And it's a story about, just a woman who was the owner of the first photography shop of photography store in Tel Aviv, and they're about to shut this store down. So there is this beautiful film about this woman who's 90 years old, and she sees all her life is in this photography store, and they need to shut it down. And it's actually a film about her and about her grandson and about her relationship. So it's not it's Israeli films, but it's very, very, very universal. We're looking for stories that can touch everyone around the world, not only Jews, not only Israelis, but they come from Israel. So they show a very different perspective of this country. You know, yes, Jessica, the news, they show us 10% of reality, and it's only the 10% which is the most extreme part of reality, of part of our daily life here. And we're trying to bring a different perspective, something that, as I said, is timeless. It's about universal stories. It's about things that can touch all of us, love, compassion, fatherhood, brotherhood. One of the things that is really interesting for me, and that's part of docu-therapy, which is something that I investigated for the past 15 years, is how do we use the cameras? How do we use the screens? How do we use the words and the letters and all these audio visual tools that we all have in our little smartphone in order to create a better future for all of us, in order to tell inspiring stories, in order to tell stories about healing, not about depression. How do we really focus our cameras but also our attention to this part of life, to the more positive part of life, which you can always see. It's about reframing the story. It's about focusing on the important stuff, on the important things, on the positive things, on something that will make us feel a bit better. In DocuNation, we're not escaping from pain. We're not escaping from pain. We're dealing with pain, but we're looking for a way up. I don't know if you know, Jessica, but in the ancient Hebrew, the word mashber, which means crisis, crisis in English, is the chair from which the woman is giving birth to a new
Right.
life.
The birthing chair.
Exactly. And every mashber is a possibility for all of us to grow. We're always growing from pain. We're always growing from hardships. We never grow when everything is just fine.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Yonatan Nir, thank you for being on the daily briefing. We're looking forward to this the third chapter, the third series of DocuNation at the Times of Israel community, and that will be after Sukkot, after this holiday season. So keep a lookout for it. Yonatan, thanks for being with me.
Thank you so much, Jessica, and thank you, Times of Israel.
Absolutely. And thanks to all of you for listening to the Times of Israel's daily briefing. Stay tuned for tomorrow's installment. This episode was produced by the Podwaves. As always, any questions you have or thoughts, drop us an email, podcast@timesofisrael.com. Until next time, take care, be well, Chag Sameach, have yourselves a good day.